Before we begin, there's a few things that you should be aware of. If you're doing a SIMnet project that is auto-graded, always use the SIMnet project instructions and the start file in the SIMnet project area. That's what you see on the screen right here. It's really important that you get your instructions right from there. Secondly, if you're doing a project that is not auto-graded, such as pause and practice, we highly encourage that you use the instructions in the sim book rather than the printed book if you have it, because the sim book project instructions are always up to date. And then lastly, there are slight differences between Office 365 and 2019. The book and project instructions are written in Office 365, and where differences exist, they'll be noted in the project instructions or in the sim book. Okay, let's begin. Step 1 says to open up the start file. That's exactly what you see here. And if it opens up in the protected view, simply double click the enable editing button, and you should be good to go. Also, if your instructor tells you to rename your file, now's the time to do that. Otherwise, you can just leave it as is. And that completes step 1. Before we begin with step 2, I want to point out a few things. Number 1, I won't have a lot of time to explain exactly what things mean, as it takes enough energy just to go through the instructions and do what the instructions say. Also, I have a printed copy of the instructions and I go over each step very carefully, and I suggest you do the same, because if you miss one little thing, it's very easy to get a lot of things wrong on these projects. So I'm going to probably go more slowly than you like, but I need to ensure that I do well. So anyway, let's move right into step 2A. We need to be on the student loan sheet, and just so you know, if you're newer with Excel, if there are more than one sheets available, you'll see them down at the bottom, and it defaults on the student loan sheet. Looks like this. You shouldn't really have to do anything. So I'm going to select cells B5 through C8. Just hold down the main mouse button. I'm going to click in B5, and then highlight all the way down to C8. Allow me to make this a little bit bigger so we can see what's going on. Next, I'm going to click on the Create from Selection button up in the Formulas tab. We're going to spend a lot of time in the Formulas tab, so you should get used to it. Create from Selection. And it wants us to ensure that it says left column right here and nothing else is selected. On my computer, it defaults to having everything perfect anyway, but make sure it looks the way it should look. And then I'm going to click OK. Next, I'm going to select E5 through F7, not F8, but F7. So it's these 3 rows with these 2 columns right here. We're going to do the same. Create from selection. Everything looks good here. You really want to make sure that the top row is deselected. It probably won't happen anyway, but make sure it looks perfect on your end. Click OK. Next, we're going to click Name Manager. And you can see everything that's available to you there. All the cell references are absolute. Hopefully you know what that means. We can talk about that at another time. But everything does look good, so I'm just going to click Close. And that's going to complete step 2. Step 3, we're going to enter a PMT function. And this has to do with loans and amortization, but we'll just go over each step as needed. So 3A says click on cell C8. It's down here. I'm going to click on the Financial button up here on the Formulas tab. We need to scroll down till we get the PMT button. You should see this dialog box open up, and it's really easy to get tripped up here, so just follow everything. I'm literally crossing each step off as I do them. So it says click the rate box. It's probably already, the cursor's already in the rate block box. I'll move this over just a little bit. Says click cell C7. And then it wants me to type that divide sign, and 12, that's going to mean 12 months. Next, I'm going to click on the next line down, the NPER box. Click on cell C6. Then I'm going to type the multiplication symbol, and 12, we're going to multiply it after the loan term. Next, we're going to click into the PV box, type the minus sign, set this as negative. That'll make sense in a few moments. Next, we need to click C5, which is the loan amount. And you can check out the figure right there. I'm just doing a quick look at it to see if I'm on the right track. And it looks pretty good right there. So in step 3I, it says leave the FV and type boxes alone, which I will do. Click OK. And we should see 186.43. And it should be a positive value. It says, in cell C8, it says verify or format cell C8 to make sure it's the accounting number format. So I'm going to make sure I'm clicked in cell C8. You probably are, but if you happen to be off it, click in cell C8. There's a couple different ways to do this. One of the ways that I always remember, it's back on the Home tab. It's right here in the currency area. It looks like a little dollar sign, but if you hover over it, it's the accounting number format. I'm just going to click it, and then you can see how it changes. That really makes a difference when you're doing these types of formulas. And that completes step 3. Step 4, create a total interest formula. So we're going to click on cell F5. It's over here. Going to type an equal sign and click on cell C8. Type a multiplication sign. Then click on cell C6. That's the loan term. Next, we're going to times it by multiplication symbol and then 12 for 12 months, obviously. Checking my instructions. We're going to type a minus sign right after that to ensure that it's a negative value. Just looking at the instructions to make sure I have it. Then it says click on cell C5. And I'm looking at the figure right there in the instructions to make sure that I have it right. Looks pretty good. I'm going to hit enter. And you should see $1,185.81 there. And you should see the accounting numbers format symbol right there off to the left. It should look exactly like that. And that completes step 4. Step 5, we're going to create the total principal formula and the total loan cost. So we need to click F6. It's probably already in there, but if not, make sure you clicked on cell F6. Read all the instructions. Sometimes there's hidden things to do in each one. Sometimes an explanation, sometimes it's instructions. So in this case, I'm going to move down to 5B, type the equal sign. That always means the formula is coming. I'm sure you know that by now. Then we're going to click on C8. We're going to type the multiplication symbol and then click on C6. Then another multiplication symbol. We're going to times it by 12, which of course is 12 months, 12 monthly payments. And then the minus sign to make sure that is correct. Next, we're going to click on cell F5. Just total interest. I'm looking at this to make sure it looks all good. And it does. I'm going to hit enter. Total principal should be $10,000 in there. Moving on to cell 5 or to step 5H. Going to be in cell F7. And we need to type the equal sign, click on F5, hit the plus button, which of course is the shift and then the plus button. And then we're going to hit F6 and enter. And if you see $11,185.81 in F7, you've done it correctly. Congratulations. That completes step 5. Moving on to step 6, we need to click on B13. Let me move this down a little bit. Still on the same sheet, of course. B13. We need to type the equal sign. Then we need to click on cell C5. And you're going to see how this is going to build on itself as we go across. Hit enter. Beginning balance, $10,000. We need to make sure, we need to click back in cell B13 and then hit that accounting numbers format. Very important that you do that. Next, I'm going to select C13. Type in the equal sign and then click B13. And then on 6F, be very careful here. We need to hit the multiplication, which is shift, and then, you know, the star above. It's probably on the 8 on your keyboard with the multiplication symbol. And then we need to put the parentheses. Very important that you start the parentheses right there. And then C7, we need to click in C7. And then we're going to put the divide sign and then 12. And then we need to close the parentheses. Take a quick look to make sure that after the multiplication symbol, it's parentheses rate and then divide it by 12, the closed parentheses. If you don't do that right, you will get this wrong. I'm going to hit enter. Looks pretty good. And you can see how that is also in the accounting numbers format. On cell 6I, it says select D13. We need to type in the equal sign, then click on C8. Then the minus sign, and then C13. It's right there, C13. And press enter. Should say 148.93 plus 37.5% interest. And then we're moving down to the next step. Under L, click E13. Type in equals. Click on C13, which is the interest. Type the plus button. Click on D13. That's the total payment for this particular month. Should equal C8, the total payment right there. So they should equal each other. And then lastly, we need to click on F13. Type the equal sign. Click on B13. Type the minus sign. Then click on D13. Then press enter. You should see $9,851.07, and that looks pretty good. And you can just check out the formulas in the instructions. You can actually, if you click on each one, you can see the formulas up there. Or, I'm not sure if you know this, if you click on, it's been a long time since I've done this here. If you click on the formulas tab and then show formulas, you can actually then see all the formulas in there. All the formula, everything that's a formula will show up in there. You don't have to do it for this step, but I wanted to show you that's available. So I just clicked off of that. We'll go back to the Home tab and start our next step. That completes step 6. Step 7, we're going to fill data and copy formulas. This is a really valuable tool in Excel because it can save you a lot of time. We need to highlight or select, I should say, A13 and A14. I'm just selecting both of those. Just so you know, the very first cell in the selection will remain white or blank, and then the other ones will be gray. So if we highlighted a whole bunch of things, the very first selection would be white. That's why they're not both gray. It lets you know where you started the selection from, but they are both selected. And then it says in the lower right hand corner, hopefully you know what the fill pointer is. Got to hover over the very right corner of the selected section. And then I'm going to head all the way down to 72 months worth of payments. I release, and it automatically fills in each month. You don't have to type them in. Select B14. I'm going to type in equals. Then I'm going to click in F13. Click on the cell F13 and enter. You can see how the balance goes down after the first month. Need to be clicked back into cell B14. And then I'm going to double click the pointer and watch what happens. It automatically fills down to row 72 there. And this will fill in a little while. Next, we need to select C13 through F13. We need to double click on the fill pointer again all the way here in the lower corner of F13. And see how it automatically calculates this all out. I'm going to scroll down the bottom, and you can see on the very last month, our balance is down to 0, which is pretty cool. And lastly, we're going to get to the top here by holding down Control and Home. Gets us back up to the top, and that completes step 7. Step 8, we're going to build a multiplication formula. So we need to be on the fee and credit sheet right here. So we're just going to click on that. It's down the bottom right here. And you can see how it moves over to the next sheet. We need to select, let me make this a little bit bigger for the video. Need to select F7. I'm reading over each step carefully. Need to type in the equal sign, then click on C7. Type the multiplication symbol, and then select D7, multiplication symbol, and E7. Enter, and it should say $4,500 right there. We're going to click on F7 again, and then in the lower right hand portion, once again, we're going to double click on the fill pointer. Copy the formula down. You can see how it fills it all the way down. And I can see, I'm just reading the instructions here. This is 8D. It says verify that cells F7 through F18. It's in the currency format. I can see up here, it's in the currency format. It's probably that way for you, but that's what it is. Lastly, it says on F18, I'm just going to click off of that. Okay. So there's not a border down there. They left that off right there. So I'm going to click back in F18, and it says select a single bottom border. If you know about Excel, you know that the borders are up here on the Home tab in the font group. There's a drop down, and it's probably the very first one for you. It is for me. It says bottom border. I'm going to click on that, and you can click off of that, and then you can see that it fills in that bottom border. Borders are really essential in Excel to make things look clean. And that completes step 8. Step 9. We're going to use the SUMIF function to calculate fees by department. So we're going to click on cell C26. C26 right there. I'm going to click on, this is 9B, the math and trig button. So we need to be up here in the formulas tab. And then one of the choices is the math and trig button. There's a lot of options right there. We're going to select the SUMIF. There's several sums, so make sure you get the correct one. Once again, I'm literally going over, I'm reading each step twice to make sure that I have it. Click in the range box. It's probably already in there for you. Then it says select cells B7 through B18. I'm going to make B7 through B18. Next, we need to select the F4 button. Now that's up top on a lot of keyboards. However, if you're on a laptop, you might have the FN, which is the function button, and then F4 up top. I'm just going to press F4 because that's what I need to do. And then we need to select in the criteria box B26. Then we need to click the sum range box. We need to select F7 through F18. And we're going to press the F4 button. Going to click OK. And you should see 13,350 in there, and you can see the figure on the right in your instructions to see if you got it right. That completes step 9. Step 10, it says copy the SUMIF function. So we're going to select, probably already in it, but make sure you're selected C26. And we're going to hold on the fill pointer and we're going to drag it down all the way down to 29, C29. The last thing we need to do is we need to use the little drop down here and choose the fill without formatting. That works there. And then lastly, we need to make sure that we choose the currency option. A couple different ways you can find this. I'm going to go up here to the Home tab and choose currency right there. And that completes step 10. Step 11, we're going to use the sum product and trace an error. So we need to select on D26. Click the Formulas tab and select the Math and Trig function. Look, scroll down and find Sum Product. You should see this array box come up. Then we need to select C7 through C9. You can see that it auto-populates in there. Click Array 2. We need to click D7 through D9. Hit OK. I'm going to just, there we go. You can see this a little bit better. And we need to point to the trace error button. You'll see this little exclamation point and a little diamond-shaped yellow triangle. That means there's a possible error there. So in this case, it's going to be okay. So there's a little drop down if you hover over that. And one of the choices is ignore error, and we're going to do that because it's fine. Sometimes there is an issue and you have to diagnose it. In this case, it's going to be just fine, and that's what step 11G is telling us to do. So anyway, that completes step 11. Step 12, we're going to copy and edit SUMPRODUCT. And really pay attention because there are several steps in here and it's easy to get tripped up. So we need to click D26, it's probably already on there. We need to drag the fill pointer and then copy that down to D29. And before we go any further, I know this might be a little bit hard to see on your screen, but there in the lower right-hand portion, there's a little set of options. If you click that, we need to make sure we check fill without formatting. That is very important right there. Next, we're going to click D27 and follow along because we're also going to do this with D28 and D29, so you need to know how to do this. We need to click the Insert Function button. We're on the Formulas tab. Insert Function. Move it over just a little bit here. And I need to then head up. Here we go. So I can then highlight C10 through C12. And it should replace that. You should see C10 colon C12 right here. If not, you just highlight over the whole thing, delete it, and then reselect this. It should say C10 through C12. And then we need to highlight D8 through D10 and then select D10 through D12. Click OK, and that's great. But we need to do the same thing for cells D28 and D29. So follow along if you don't know how to do this. I'm going to click in D28, Function tab, and then for this one, you need to select C13 through C15, C13 through C15. I'm going to highlight the array 2 numbers and select D13 through D15, OK. Going to do it one more time. We need to select a different range. We need to be on D29, and then we need to hit the Function button, and we need to select C16 through C19, highlight over all the stuff in array 2, because we're going to now select C16 or D16 through D18, OK. And we're almost done with this step, and really this is pretty much the last hard thing to do. I'm going to click back on D27, and then I'm going to hover over this Ignore the Formulas button here, and I'm going to choose Ignore Error. Do the same thing, little drop down, Ignore Error. Do the same thing for the remaining. I'm just going to click off of that, make sure there's no errors, everything looks good. And that completes step 12. Let's move right on to step 13. We need to select cell F20. Let me move this over just a little bit so you can see this, F20. We're going to type the equal sign and then the word to, like to and from, to. And then if we hit the tab, watch what happens. It gets ready to put in the date. If I hit enter, it now includes the correct date. And then I'm going to hit Control and Home to get up to the top. And that completes step 13. Step 14, pay attention because there might be a few little nuances that the instructions may or may not have. This is important. We need to click on a new sheet down here next to these two sheets. There's a little plus button if you can't see it on your video. And then I need to double click where it says sheet 1 and I need to rename it. You're going to call it range names. Make sure you get the capitalization correct. Then I need to click into the worksheet itself to lock it into place. Next, I'm going to hit Control Home because it wants us to be in the upper left-hand portion, the beginning portion of this worksheet. And then we're going to press F3. Not sure if you can see this. I'm going to pull this box over here. Click paste list. It's going to paste the list in there. And then I'm going to highlight, I'm going to hover over the A and hold down the mouse button, highlight the columns A and B, and then click right in between A and B, and that'll auto fit those particular columns. Looking at the instructions, that completes step 14. The great news is step 15 says to save and close, 16 says to upload and save, and then finally step 17 says to submit your project for grading. Great job, everybody. Thanks.